This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Wednesday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. And as always, we appreciate you making Locked On Bets your first listen of the day here on the Locked On Podcast Network. A perfect 3-0 last night. We'll recap those selections coming up. But we do know that the World Series will at least head north of the border for one more game after the Blue Jays won last night. And big Game 5 tonight in Los Angeles. So, Lee, let's get things going with our wrong player team favorite.
What the fuck?
WTF.
So Shohei Ohtani can only do so much, right? I mean, he slept in the dugout probably after Game 3, get ready for Game 4. But now the Blue Jays back in the series. They win last night, and a couple key hits off Ohtani. And now 2-2, Game 5 tonight. Blake Snell back on the mound after he couldn't pick up a win in Game 1. So we'll see what he does here in Game 5. And Lee, what do you like with the strikeout prop this evening?
All right, so I think it's been an entertaining series. So I really have no, rooting interest as far as when I'm betting on a game here. But more of an East Coast guy and see these teams rarely. The Dodgers maybe on national TV. Toronto, they're on, and I follow them closely when they're playing teams like the Yankees and the Red Sox. But they're just one of these teams that's probably better as a team than they are the individual parts. We've seen what they've done against starting pitching this postseason and also in the World Series. The only starter to hit the K prop was Yamamoto, and he pitched a complete game. Going back to the well with this one here, Blake Snell is projected to go about 5, maybe 6 innings here. All hands on deck. They need to come away with a win. They have the day off next week. They got guys that have pitched the night before and have gone a few innings. They're just going to have to go and gut it out here. So unless he is really on, I can't see him going more than 5, 6 innings. And I think, as I mentioned yesterday, Blue Jays are going to work counts, and the under looks good again. So we're going to go with Blake Snell, under 6.5 strikeouts here, minus 105. It's going to be my wrong, not team favorite, wrong player favorite here tonight in World Series game number 5.
And also, too, Lee, we've talked about this the entire series and even during the season that the Blue Jays don't strike out. Like, they've done a great job of not striking out, and you're facing in this series Blake Snell and Yamamoto and Glasnow and Ohtani, all guys that can strike everyone out, and yet the Blue Jays just don't strike out, which is a key thing. So you might as well just keep riding that, and we'll see how Blake Snell performs. Now, looking back at last night, Shohei Ohtani, he pitched well enough. I mean, all things considered, playing in a full 18-inning game the night before, now being asked to pitch the next day. He finishes just shy of his strikeouts. You had the under 6.5, finished at 6. If he had 0 or 6, doesn't matter, still an under. But that was good to see that Ohtani just didn't have enough in the tank there to get over that strikeout total.
Yeah, so the public loves to play overs. They love, Shohei Ohtani. I mean, he's maybe one of the greatest players of our generation, maybe the best one. But bottom line is they elevate these numbers here. Half a strikeout. You got to pay extra vig if you want to get him over 1.5 or 2 bases. And, I'm not willing to pay that extra price here. I'm looking to come away with a win, not just fawn over some of these stars.
So the Blue Jays now will definitely return home for Game 6, but we'll see if the Dodgers can go up 3-2 headed back there, or if Toronto goes up 3-2 with 2 shots to win at home. Now, the other 2 winners, Lee, were both in the NHL. I hit on Columbus first period against Buffalo, and the Blue Jackets ended up winning that game in overtime. The Sabres actually took the lead in that game, and then Columbus tied it and won in overtime. But I did like it simply because Buffalo had led through one period one time, I believe, through the first 8 games. So going to keep riding that, and Columbus jumped ahead and ended up winning the game.
Yep, and you saw that you had found something that, first period was the way to go, the way to bet this game, and why leave it to chances who's going to win later in the game? So different way to attack games. A lot of people, very few people will play first periods, but the astute gambler like yourself, there's a lot of money to be made in first period overs and unders, going back to your WNBA and also now in hockey.
You get them done quick. That's what it is. People don't want. They want the struggle for the entire game. Just done with. Now, you did have the Bruins Islanders over last night. New York was up 2-0 through 1. Then Boston scored 3 in the second period, won 5-2. And another high scoring game there for the Bruins. I know that they've had struggles early on allowing the first goal, but good to see that you get that balance throughout and pretty much multiple goals every period.
Yep. That's, you got to first look at the goalie, look at the style of play, look at the injuries, and we're doing it all. So we're getting it going right now in hockey. So felt really good about that one. And it's only one game tonight, but, went 2-1 with our clients also on our hockey selection. So good night in hockey.
Yeah, the frozen frenzy. Everyone played. So now one game tonight, Columbus and Toronto, and then everything kind of resumes back again tomorrow. I'll give you one bad beat. We didn't discuss this game last night, but if you caught in the NBA, there were only 5 games last night. Warriors, a good win at home over the Clippers. The Knicks and Bucks game was pretty good as well. Milwaukee ended up winning there. But did you catch this Philadelphia-Washington game where the Sixers were 4-point favorites? Washington led by 16 going to the fourth quarter. Philadelphia tied it, and then the Sixers won by 5 in overtime. So how does that one taste?
That's Washington in a nutshell. Yeah. They find ways to lose games and not cover. So never ask a bad team to cover. I rarely play Washington. I mean, I don't know how people go to games there. They keep getting high picks after high picks after high picks. Unless someone gave me free tickets and I wanted to see the other team or I had money on the game, I'm not going to a game there.
Now, last night in college football, I know a lot of people probably didn't keep an eye on this, but I just want to bring this one up to you really quick. Yep. They're not going to be in the playoff. I get it. But look at the job that James Madison has done. That only just one loss in the season to Louisville, a game they were winning, a game they were in until the second half. They beat Texas State 52-20. The last 2 weeks, James Madison scored 115 points against Old Dominion and Texas State. If they ran the table and no one from the American really separated themselves, you probably can't see James Madison sneaking in. Is that just asking too much? You have no wins over big quality opponents.
I think that's what hurts them. And unless every team knocks off each other, for the rest of the year, and each team has at least 2 losses, I don't know how they get in the equation. So there's not too many people out there that are, James Madison fans or know about him, even on the committee. So it's going to be really tough for him.
Yeah, and look, Kurt Cignetti built them up and then left to go to Indiana and then thought they'd be left for dead, and they're still fine. So so it's okay. But we have some college football coming up, Conference USA, FIU and Missouri State. We throw the record books out when those two teams get together. So we're going to talk about that game coming up. Also, big one in the AFC on Sunday, the Steelers and the Colts. They meet in Pittsburgh. We'll see if the Steelers can get on track. The Colts have the best record in football. I mean, a lot of people... nobody. I mean, I'm not going to say a few people. Nobody predicted that going into the season. We'll see if Indianapolis keeps that up. Also, we have a big NBA game. It's there's actually 10 games in the NBA. One will isolate the Cavs and Celtics coming up in just a few moments. So we have a busy show today as we continue here on this Wednesday edition of Locked On Bets. Let's talk now about FanDuel, and we are in the midst of the season. That's right. FanDuel has an offer you don't want to miss. The NFL now getting to week number 9. It starts on Thursday with the Ravens and the Dolphins in Miami. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use across the app. And what can you bet on? Of course, the games. You have, again, Ravens-Dolphins on Thursday. Lamar Jackson expected to return for Baltimore. So you want to take his passing yards prop. What about Tua Tagovailoa coming off a win over the Falcons? Take maybe his passing prop. And then you have Sunday, big boy, Bills and the Chiefs coming up in Buffalo inside the AFC. Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, two of the favorites for MVP. Mahomes is the favorite right now at FanDuel to win the Most Valuable Player award. Also, the Chiefs are the Super Bowl favorites after that 0-2 start. So you can bet on AFC champion, NFC champion, Super Bowl champion, MVP, all of that at FanDuel. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com now to download the FanDuel app today and get started. We continue here, Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. And Lee, now it is time to look at the NBA and a big one inside TD Garden tonight. The Cavs and the Celtics. Time for another, not wrong player favorite, but we're going to do the real video. Wrong team favorite.
What the fuck? WTF.
Very intriguing game tonight, Lee. The Cavaliers and the Celtics meet in Boston. The Cavaliers are 3.5-point favorite. And I like the Boston Celtics tonight getting the points against the Cavaliers. Now, a couple notes here. Number one, the Celtics, we know how much they shoot the three, but they defend the three very well. They're tops in the NBA, allowing the three-point shot, 29.1% shooting for opponents. Cleveland off a couple big victories over Milwaukee and Detroit, a couple division rivals, and they destroyed Detroit on the road back on Monday, kind of like start to finish, just rolled them. And Boston, yeah, Jason Tatum's out. Jaylen Brown is playing well for them, and they're off their first win of the season. They struggled their first few games. They ended that road trip beating New Orleans. Granted, Zion didn't play, but doesn't matter. A win's a win. They needed some kind of momentum. They lost their home opener to Philadelphia. But now getting points, the Celtics at home. I just like the spot coming off a great defensive effort here, Lee. And let's take the points with Boston here. Getting 3.5. I do like this tonight against Cleveland. ESPN game. I think that Boston shows up here in this spot against the Cavaliers.
Well, I like the way that they played against the Pelicans. Watch that game. They might be one of these teams for a while. I look at 10-game segments, and they might be able to play well as a team with parts that, you think are not great. Sometimes these parts are better than, the sum of the whole team. So they seem to play well within the system. They're well coached, and as long as they don't turn the ball over a lot, they make you work for your points. So, like I said, you don't need to have a superstar on a team to cover a lot of spreads, and I think they'll be up for this game here. And Cleveland doesn't look like they're clicking on all cylinders yet.
Yeah, Donovan Mitchell does have good numbers against the Celtics, but still no Darius Garland for them. Max Strus is still out. So, I just like the spot here. I think Boston will keep this one close tonight. All right, so we shift from the NBA to college football. Conference USA, Lee Sterling's favorite conference in the world, FIU and Missouri State. I mean, I'm not going to make the joke. I was going to say Ohio State, Michigan, Texas, Oklahoma, biggest rivalries out there. And then you get FIU and Missouri State. And you know what, Lee? This is truly a hidden gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
I can't help making the jokes. I really can't help it. And you know what it is, too? Yeah, you know what it is? It's like when you look at the Big Ten expanding and like Washington plays Rutgers. Okay, it's a little wonky because but no disrespect to all of Missouri State. That's not what this is about. It's just funny to see like these new matchups. Now they're conference matchups. You're kind of like, it just geographically, it's weird. And the Conference USA does encapsulate USA. That's the name of the conference. And also, we're based in South Florida, so we followed FIU for a long time. So it's just funny with them too. But anyway, all that being said, all jokes aside, serious business now. Missouri State laying 3.5 at home to FIU. What do you like here?
And there was some talk at one time when FIU started this program, I think it's about 25 years ago, that maybe they would eventually, join a conference and play teams like South Florida, Central Florida. They play FAU every year, but there would at least be a rivalry. I could see some of the teams like South Alabama, but the conference is horrible this year. I mean, almost every single team is down. Missouri State just joined the conference. They're 4-3. Positives are, they're trying to get to 6-6 like a lot of teams. And if they can win this game and beat UTEP, which is certainly possible, almost everyone beats UTEP, they're 6-6. And you would judge that season as a success in your first year in Division I football. They've been playing opponents the last couple years on and off, 2-3 opponents that are Division I teams and usually taking their lumps. FIU, I think they finally made the right decision with a head coach. Willie Simmons was at Florida A&M, did a great job. I think it was like 66-24 in his career. He knows Florida. He's going to be able to recruit Florida. You hope to get guys that are good but not too good that you get poached. But it's going to happen to a few guys. There's a huge turnover from last year to this year. Nothing he can do about it. You meet with a kid when you take over, unless you're the greatest coach of all time. If they didn't get a whole lot of game time last year and you're able to sell that kid, or you had a super year, you don't want to go through a whole rebuilding cycle here. And FIU's offense, their strength, studying them, 191 rushing yards per game. That is in the top 40. That's really about their only strength. Michigan State's rush defense did not start off the season great, but they had to play really good teams. The last 4 games have given up a total of just 99 yards per game rushing. So they have improved there. If you saw the numbers early in the season, you're like, they're no good, but they were playing really good teams. They also have forced a decent amount of turnovers, 12 turnovers through 7 games. And FIU is susceptible here. Their quarterback, Keon Jenkins, is susceptible to have multiple interception games. I think that the game plan here is to put 7, sometimes 8 guys in the box here and force Jenkins to beat him. He's one of these guys that I saw him when he was at Central, left-handed quarterback. He's really good at the high school level, delivers the ball on time, but you get in his face, he's not real tall. He's probably 5'10" tops, and he has trouble. So he gets some balls that are tipped at the line of scrimmage, once in a while misreads coverage, or has to deliver the ball earlier, take a sack, and that can change a game here. FIU's defense, 125th versus the pass this year, and allows 31 points per game. Some of these teams like FIU, there's some games they go out and they play great one game. And I just can't rely on the last game they were on the road. They played great and pulled the upset, but that was against Middle Tennessee State. I don't see that happening again here. Missouri State, a lot to play for here. I think the crowd's going to be pumped. They'll be on national TV. They're not on national TV often at home. And they're laying 3.5 points. I haven't won in the game, something like 24-17. So we're hungry tonight. Everyone's hungry this time of year, getting ready for Thanksgiving. So I'm going to give them a little something to nibble on. Missouri State minus the 3.5 moves to 5-3 over FIU, who might be good in a couple years. Look out for them and this coach, but not yet, especially on the road.
With Missouri State, you talk about trying to get to 6 wins and trying to get to that bowl game, which would be big for them in their first year at the FBS level. Liberty's down. Liberty was supposed to win the conference. They're down. They get them next week. And you mentioned UTEP after that. You could win these 3 games. You have Kennesaw State on the road and Louisiana Tech. I mean, toss-ups. But, you have chances here. They got blown out by USC in the opener by 60. And since then, They lost to SMU by 18. That's not terrible. And they lost by 5 to Western Kentucky. And they beat Marshall on the road, which is a nice win. They have a couple road wins. So trying to get a nice home win tonight against FIU. So should be interesting with them coming up this evening. Coming up, we will shift to the NFL and talk Colts Steelers. AFC showdown on Sunday from Pittsburgh. Let's see if the Steelers can save some face a little bit after a couple losses and their defense has been shredded. So we will talk about that game. Our lock of the day coming up next right here on Locked On Bets. Locked On Bets continues here on a Wednesday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. So it is time now to go to the NFL. And, of course, everyone thought Daniel Jones would be leading the team with the best record in the NFL through 8 weeks. We all knew that. So now it's time for our lock of the day.
Open it, open it, open it. Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
Question we keep asking ourselves is, through 8 weeks, are the Colts for real? Is this team, can they be a threat in the AFC? We know what the Chiefs are. We know what the Bills are. I mean, Baltimore, they get Lamar Jackson healthy. But Indianapolis trying to fight their way into this conversation. And they go to Pittsburgh coming up on Sunday. They're a short favorite. The Steelers off to a nice start. And then they lose that Thursday night game to Joe Flacco and the Bengals. And then Jordan Love just shreds them on Sunday night at home. At Pittsburgh. And the Packers win that game. So, Lee, what do you like here with the Colts laying points to the Steelers on Sunday?
All right. So I hear the argument a lot that the Steelers are on the verge of getting back to where they were. I'm not so sure. Watching their defense in the second half, they've had some big signings. Obviously, we know at the cornerback position, they have some high-priced guys on the defensive line, but they're not playing up to their potential and the standard. And Mike Tomlin is always, we're going to be tough. We're going to out-physical you here. We have that home field advantage, but they just absolutely got destroyed in the second half against Green Bay. And maybe his message here is getting old. Maybe his coaches aren't good enough. So on offense, obviously they need a second and a third receiver. Don't have it. Their running game is okay. They interchange a couple guys out, but it's the defense that really concerns me. I thought they were going to come to play against a Green Bay team that had not done much since opening week against Detroit in the first couple series of that game, and they allowed them to take over. I'm looking at the Pro Football Focus numbers on the positions that I had some real doubts, and the three linebackers that Pittsburgh plays, top two guys are ranked out of 80 guys, 27th and 60. The guy you think of is really good, Patrick Queen. I'm watching him. He is so late to the party, late on coverage, missing tackles, taking, he probably thinks educated guesses where the guy is going to run through which hole, and just missing and missing by a lot. Ranked 76th out of 80. This is a guy you're paying a lot of money to. So big whiff there. Safety position up the middle. You got to be able to, you got some really good corners here, and you got to be able to cover tight ends, and in coverage, guys going deep, not getting the job done. Obviously, they lost Deshaun Elliott. Now, let's look at the next three guys. Chuck Clark, ranked 15th. He's okay. The other guys, just not getting the job done here. So there's 88 guys here, and Juan Thornhill, 87th out of 88. You can't have deficiencies like that and get by. The other teams you see with deficiencies like that are teams like the Dolphins. So I think Indianapolis is overlooked. I know they're 7-1. People say, oh, well, they haven't played in one, but the Steelers beat the 1-7 Jets, 2-6 Browns, and a very overrated and injury-riddled Vikings team here. So I love this team here. They're under the radar, and as a favorite, 16-2 straight up since Shane Steichen took over as head coach. So sometimes you got to lay it if you want to play it. I think that we're going to look back 2-3 weeks from now and say the Steelers really are done. Put an absolute fork in them here. I'm going to go with the Indianapolis Colts. Maybe Mike Tomlin should hang it up here before he gets fired. I like Indy here. I think they win this game 28-17 over the Steelers.
Yeah, and Pittsburgh, obviously, we'll see if Aaron Rodgers can turn it around, but Daniel Jones has been one of the great stories, and also Jonathan Taylor. I mean, what he's done, and just already eclipsing his touchdown total from last year through 8 games. He's been unbelievable for the Colts. So, Lee, college football continuing tonight. NFL resumes tomorrow with Ravens, Dolphins, and back at it. NBA underway, NHL underway. So what's going on with Paramount Sports?
So last day of the special. Not going to be here for the rest of this of 2025. You want to get my NBA plays for 7 days, $50. You want to get my hockey plays for 7 days, $50. Went 2-1 there in the hockey last night. Almost pulled out. Only had a 1-0 loss there. One of the late games. So we feel good about the card going forward on both. Next couple days, 7 days, $50, or both sports combined, $77. It's going to be gone. Once the games start tonight, no longer available. So you want to sample us, and that way maybe you can parlay that into joining us for a month or a season in these sports. ParamountSports.com for the 7-day $50 special, or both sports, $77. I really like the card this weekend in NFL. Probably the most I've liked a card so far this year. I've already released one 40 to 50 unit play. I released it at 40. It's probably going to go up to 50. I am going to release in the next day or two, looks like a 40 to 50 unit play in college, another one, and also one in the NFL. First time ever in the history of Paramount Sports, 3 40 to 50 unit max wagers. The largest plays that we have are 40 to 50 units. We're 73 and 29 lifetime on our 40 to 50 unit plays. So you want to get our 40 to 50 unit plays. It's not November. We call it Dovember. You can get involved here. $4.97 through the end of November. It's our phone service where we rate the games from 10 to 50 units. How do you do it? Just one place, ParamountSports.com.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Bets. Also check out our shorts as well, as Lee will have some more selections there for the shorts. So they're basically a minute, less than a minute videos. You can get a winner there for that. Also, you can check out our podcast as well, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you get your podcasts. We'll be back with you coming up on Thursday. Another loaded show up ahead as another show we're looking forward to. For Lee Sterling, I am Kevin Rogers. Thank you so much for tuning in to another edition of Locked On Bets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.